if not daily, office gets weekly, if not daily, calls about speeding in the hills, and I have started to get some of them as well. Happens particularly on the straightaway, the few straightaway roads that we have, and we've got the 19-mile-an-hour speed limit, which, you know, people who come in and visit for the first time always go, 19 miles an hour. It's designed to get attention. Unfortunately, when you live here and you're here all the time, you don't pay attention. So please, please, for the sake of walkers, kids and critters, slow down and ask your guests to slow down. Third thing, we had a presentation on November 9th from Hocking County about well and septic system operations and maintenance. Our plan was to present that on Zoom and also record it, and that worked beautifully for 15 minutes. At the end of 15 minutes, we exhausted the Wi-Fi bandwidth in here because we had 25 people live who all had cell phones on, and as the lodge started collecting people is when it went down. And so it couldn't keep up. The video went through, but the audio did not. So Hocking County agreed to come back again and do the same presentation. It was really good. It was very in-depth, over 2 hours. They're going to come back again. I talked to them. It probably will be in March because they're super busy in January and February. We'll let people know about dates, and we will get that one recorded if I have to lug in my camera and recording equipment. So we'll have that one done. If you do want a copy of the actual PowerPoint, it is huge. It's 81 slides with lots of graphics. So it has to be sent via mail drop. But if you contact me or Penny also now has a copy, we can at least send you the PowerPoint. And I wrote a summary of it and sent it by Hocking County to say, did I leave anything out? The summary of the key points, and that will be in the upcoming Echo. Last thing, just another reminder, and I'm going to do something a little different. My report that I write in the Echo is going to be different than what I do in here. More focused on a subject. And the subject this time is going to be volunteerism. I don't know if everybody realizes that this place runs on volunteers, period. Everybody at this table is a volunteer. Management committee are all volunteers. ACC are volunteers. Committee chairs and members are all volunteers. A couple of years ago, we did a rough calculation of if we had to hire people to do what the volunteers do, what would that cost the club? And it was over $500,000 a year. And I think that's pretty conservative. So my plea to everybody is going to be, some of those volunteers who've been volunteering for year after year after year are getting older. Not anybody at this table, but other people are beginning to get older. And they've got tons of expertise and knowledge. And when they leave, it's gone. So we really need to make sure that we've got a supply of volunteers who have the experience. So please consider in the next year volunteering on one of the committees. And that is it for my report. Review of October minutes, Nancy.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the October 18th, 2022 minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Second by Chaz. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bingo, done. Correspondence, Nancy.
Don't believe there is any. That's not.
Treasurer's report, Cabot.
Yeah, we started the month at 146,285 for the 26 different committees or subcommittees. Activity is slowing down. We did have a big jump for lakes because of the boat removal. They had 12,000 into their bank, if you will. So by the end of the month, we came down to a total of it went from 146 to 155, 925 and 29 cents. And so with that, I'd like to make a motion to accept this committee treasurer's report for October.
Second by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There's a voice on the screen.
Aye.
Hey, Dave.
Uh,
Hello.
Opposed, okay, motion carried. And now, management committee and GM report.
So it's pretty quick, update from the management committee and GM from our meeting last week. We went through, reviewed project status of things that were going on there, kind of updated everything that we had. We're in the process of developing a list of projects so that we can start tracking that. And then we started into budget discussions for 2023. And we have, a good start on that. We're starting to work through it, and are going to be presenting that in December for the board's approval. It was pretty much a working meeting on the budget. Any questions on anything that we talked about? Go into more detail.
And you're for sure gonna present that in December.
Yes.
And we've got board members have asked everybody to be here remotely or if they can.
Okay. We go on to the lodge area electrical system. So you see it, I do want to just clarify, it says lodge, but it's the lodge area and the lodge building itself, not just the lodge and the restaurant. And this is something that you guys, sent this out to you a month or so ago, and part of it you did approve on there, you to start something, but we never got a chance to go through the presentation. So hopefully y'all have read through it. This is just kind of a review for you. But up here, right now, the current systems, date back from the 60s. We've got an odd situation where the higher voltage wiring up there, the transformers, we actually own it, which is not typical. Usually that's something that the utility will own. So those are some of the needs, the big needs why to do this project. The benefits on it are to get new equipment updated from a safety and reliability standpoint, allow for expansion, have a standard metering unit set up there on the transformer. The existing bank will be removed and disposed of by South Central. And we can go ahead and remove the overhead 13.8 kV lines that are running across it. So to clean up that area, we can get with the communications companies that have lines on there as well, and those poles can come out. So we can free all that up.
The ballpark, when they think they can get this done.
Well,
I know they've been working, but I mean, we have a target date kind of by summer, everything's.
we kind of look at it, I think, and we'll look at the cash flow at the end. I believe it's like around 8 month
8 months.
process or a little bit more. There are some lead time issues that we have with some of the equipment. So we just have to wait for that. But there are two basic areas that we're doing here, and we broke it up for permitting reasons, because the pool and the trash compactor area are in Hocking County, and the lodge building itself is in Fairfield County. So there's two jurisdictions having authority there, even though it's all the state, but they have some nuances there. So we split that up. And the pool and the trash compactor is part of what you guys have approved over there. So the design on this obviously is all done. We're out, submitted for permits, we're ordering equipment right now. Right now, the power, and you can move it back. So right now, the power going over to the pool comes from the transformer bank that's out in front of the lodge building, and then runs overhead, exposed on the telephone poles, and then goes down underground into the pool. So this system is going to put a separate transformer over where it dives underground right now. We'll intercept that wiring, put a transformer there, and have a new feed off of the new line that South Central put in. So that'll all be underground cable now. We'll just go through this other transformer.
For the pool.
For the pool only, yeah. The trash compactor is a separate feed over there, and it already is, but it has its own meter, and we're just gonna redo that to kind of clean that up as well while we're there. Okay. I will say too that all the underground conduit is already in place. We did that when South Central was out here boring the conduits before, so we were able to get them, work with that contractor and got that installed. So that's already in place. On the lodge building itself, it's gonna update the existing system. The existing transformers are gonna be removed. And as I said, allow for future expansion, provide for standby emergency power. So we have in here, we have in the budget, an emergency generator on there. And we'll look at that here in the next slide.
We don't currently have one, do we?
Correct. We have like a real portable,
Yeah.
one that the guys pull up there and they can do a bunch of monkeying around with the breakers and things, and it's just not efficient. But what we did, in the new generator we put in there, it's at 80 kW, and it's gonna be a diesel powered one. So if we have ice, we're not gonna be reliant on having to worry about propane deliveries or anything like that. We could refuel it with our own people. So this is outside of the lodge building, on that southwest corner, kind of where that back doors to the kitchen are, from around there. In the picnic area, I think you can see that right where his cursor is. So you'll see on there the new generator, the transformer, like right in the middle. We've got a little roadway that'll get in there, and there'll be a gate that goes around this so that we can obviously keep people and animals out. And then we have to take into account having a better road coming in there so you can get a truck in that service that generator. The existing air conditioner condenser units are going to stay in the same place, but we are going to put a pad underneath those. So we've already looked at that. We've got that taken into account, where we can lift that up and just temporarily support and put a pad and be done with it. So the new wiring is going to come into, you'll see those black boxes over there. One's the automatic transfer switch, which would shift between normal and emergency power. And the other one is the main distribution panel. So it's going to, all the power coming to there, which right now it's down in the basement here inside the building. So we're going to remove it outside. The cable will come in from there and get distributed out to various panels inside the building. Any questions so far? One of the other additional items on here is that to make this as safe as possible, you'll see up there in red on the corner of the building is the proposed area. So that area one is going to be probably about 3 feet lower than the top of the road. So we're going to have like a little retaining wall put in there, and we'll have some fencing that'll go up around it. But also to help alleviate the issues, we're proposing rerouting the road to behind the parking area out there, down on the very lower part where that blue line is, and that's just a rough, pictorial in there. So then the whole top portion, that would just be closed off to traffic.
Very top row.
Yeah, the very top
It's
row.
now.
On the south side, it would be closed off. You would be able to come in to the parking area from the north side.
Yeah.
And then what that also allows then is it can expand the parking area. If we want, we could also put the handicap parking right up by the building.
Right.
So, and we also cut down on having cars going by as people are walking to and from their parked vehicles. So,
At 40 miles.
That makes sense.
yeah, we're trying to tie it back a little. So there are a few things though that the costs for doing this are not included in what we have in the budget here, nor is any kind of final landscaping or anything like that. We wanted to start moving forward with some of this stuff and take it in phases on it.
Where would you put a new parking area if we did that?
Closer to the lodge.
Closer to the lodge. Yeah.
For what area?
I don't know. We haven't decided. We haven't looked at that.
I mean, my only concern is I've seen that lower lot full of cars during dam jams, during concerts, and all those people are now going to be forced to park alongside the road. grass. People that live nearby, they have cars parked in front of their house. So I'm just thinking if we're gonna do that, we may want to look at it or just have less parking.
I think you'll have more parking. You'll still be able to park down there. You'll just be parking on the side of the road. I mean, there's plenty of room there. So, but again, that's something that we're beyond the scope of our project right now. So we know we want to move it. We think it's the right thing to do, but we have to look at getting some help with identifying where to move it to.
Because that whole center area, basically where the current road is, would become potentially parking. Right? And that whole center area, which is largely now parking. And then on the other side of the blue line, more parking.
Yeah, 'cause you still have,
Right.
you still have the dumpsters down there. and
Right.
recycling, Right, so you still have to have access. to
Yeah.
that.
But the area that is now the road, coming right by the lodge, right there, that and somehow maybe turned into a parking.
Yeah.
Especially up front with the ADA.
So here are some of the cost summaries on everything. And again, the pool, the trash compactor, and then the equipment piece for the lodge building is what's been approved. Let's go to the next slide. So the total, you'll see the total on that is the 331,551, and then there is a rough estimate of what the cash flow's gonna look like over the 8-month period. You got a question?
It's cheaper than building a new lodge that burns down because of bad electric. Way cheaper.
Good point. And part of this is there are safety
Oh, that's,
concerns. I mean,
Yeah, that's
that's
the
the
big-
reason.
that's the big driver.
Yeah.
Is the safety on this, when, earlier this past summer, we went in and did some work on the panel, and there were a couple breakers that would not operate. So they got replaced, but it just goes to show you that.
This is original wiring.
Original one, and I think maybe people need to be reminded, it also includes our office. So it's not just the restaurant, it's this room, it's the office, it's everything.
And I do understand that there was a fire there a few years back.
There was.
I don't remember how long. So that's pretty scary if that happens again. So I guess that's kind of it, this is a total thing in there. Obviously, let you guys think about it, discuss it, if you want to go forward with this plan, and we can do that. And see what else we can kind of work around, resequence if needed.
I thought we already approved it.
You did part of it.
Part,
Okay.
just for what was
It
done
wasn't. Yeah, since we had,
right away.
since we had talked about this, we didn't do the whole thing, and I wanted to have the board have a chance to ask questions about it.
Yeah, you approved the first phase of the equipment.
You remember how much that was for? I don't.
It's about 100.
It was a
Yeah,
top
it was
three.
about 100,000.
The 33, 20, 21.
And a 42, yeah.
So other than what you kind of coordinated your work with South Central, that's as far as it's gotten to this point?
Well,
With the
the-
underground?
Yeah, but we obviously, we have to coordinate other things with South Central on that. And then we're doing the rest of the work, right? So we'll end up setting the transformer, building that whole little substation. And then that's where we've got a contractor, Area Electric, is gonna be doing that. They've done the design on it and are actually acting as project manager for us as well.
When do you expect that to begin? Start or has it already?
It's
started?
already
good.
begun. Once you guys approve that
that's
things were put
started.
into motion, go ahead and start ordering equipment and submitting for permits and moving things forward.
The lead time on a lot of that equipment was weeks. and weeks and weeks.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, some of it
Yeah.
was like 42 plus weeks, so,
Oh, okay.
Are transformers available?
yeah, the South Central.
Oh, that's right, they did, they used that.
Yeah.
They're hard to come by.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's very good.
Marty, what was the one other thing about that? If I recall correctly from the management meeting? Some of the equipment we own currently, but which means we have to maintain it.
Yeah, the transformers and then there are some metering devices over on the far end. And all that. We're full for those 100%. I don't think there's ever been any testing done on those things. Probably hasn't, because that stuff usually just gets run to failure.
But once this is completed, we will not,
We will not- no,
so we won't be responsible for that. Good.
It'll be just the same as we do.
Hey, you want some time to think about this? Do you want to?
How does this fit in with other projects, such as dredging the lake? Just fit a lot of things that are coming up.
And that's where we are still working through that overall budget on how all this falls in together. But I don't have a definitive answer for you now, but I will, like, the answer for sure.
And I know you guys will look at that and it's gonna be a consideration, but you take in improvements to the golf course in the lake plus this, it's gonna be a pretty big chunk of money. And this by far to me is a priority over those two. But
And this is all capital, right?
Yeah.
What, for illustration purposes, what is month one?
One, that would be, that'll take care of basically the pool area.
No, I mean, when does month one start?
Probably in maybe December, but it'll probably actually get split up between December and January.
Some of this work is weather dependent, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, would it be proper to wait until next year's budget comes out for us to take a look at that before we make any more decisions on what we're doing with this, or?
Yeah, that's
Do
fine.
you need anything right now?
Right now, no.
Okay, so we can do that. We
Even
can,
in the December.
in the December meeting, I'm gonna try to keep it almost totally budget, so we don't get into a zillion other things. So, and Marty's gonna be here, so
Right.
maybe we wait until we see all of that.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else from,
I've got the 2 easement waivers that we could do.
oh, two easement waivers? You need to grab a mic.
You've never spoken about.
this will be a first.
But you laugh.
So I've got 2 board easement waivers. First one is for Hickman residents, lot 1207 and 1208, Chaos Lane. Their waiver has been with SCP, as well as lots are joined and with the trees, and they're under construction right now. So that's the first one that needs approved by the board.
What's the lot number again?
Lot 1207 and 1208 Chaos.
So I'd like to make a motion that we waive, the club waive the easement as per our language for lots 1207 and 1208. Everything has been received from South Central Power and we're ready to go. We've got a joiner. So my motion is that we accept. And
I'll second that.
Second by Cabot. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, the second one is for Portland Properties, Freeman Residence, 948, and part of 948, and lot 941, sorry, 48 and 49, Taylor's Lane. We have all the documents recorded through SCP, as well as the lots have been joined and recorded.
all right, so I'd like to make a motion that the part of 948 and 949, that we accept and waive the club's easement to those properties.
I'll second.
Let's have it. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you table participant sharing up there? We're gonna get to committee business and funds requests. I have a couple things to mention first. Says I'm still disabled.
Fine with me.
That was pretty good, though. That was pretty good. That still says I'm disabled.
Yeah, right there.
How about now? Yep.
Um, we're getting there. What I wanted to mention, if, as board reps, if any of your committees are requesting amenity funds carryover, they've got to submit a request to you before November 29th, and you need to submit it for an e-vote. I'm learning a lot about amenities funds lately. They do not automatically carry over. So if they don't request it, it's not going to be there. And then Penny's going to put together the spreadsheet on the 30th. And that will be then prepared for the amenity disbursement meeting, which happens on December the 3rd, Saturday at 10 a.m. And the reason I put this up here is because I'll share my recent learning. And maybe some of you already know this, but I'm not sure if members do. I was confused about the difference between amenity funds and committee funds. They are two completely separate pots of money. The amenity funds come from new member fees. And I think it's capped at 75,000 that gets divided up among the committees. And that's what they're going to do on December 3rd. They'll get together, they'll talk about what projects they have, they've already submitted, and they will come to some decisions about how to divide that up. Those funds are really earmarked for special projects. So they have to tell where that's going to be spent. Things like new sales of the chapel, pool furniture, the range trap house. It's organized by a long planning committee. And we as a board approved that once in December, probably, or January, one or the other. And that's done for the year. Any unused funds, like I just said, can be carried over by request. Committee funds are totally different than that. Those are the funds raised by the committees, used mostly for events, activities, like concerts, golf tournaments, Boo at the Barn, things like that. And the event dates and reimbursement are approved by us, which is why we have a gazillion e-votes. I have a suggestion, and I talked with Penny about this. She said from an accounting perspective, it would be fine. Cabot, you can weigh in here. Right now, what happens a lot is somebody will say, I request March the 4th for XYZ activity. We approve that. They come back later, and then we approve 6 reimbursements of funds for that event. And often it's $10.95 to so-and-so, and it's $49 to somebody else. It's all for the same event. Right. So if they would ask us initially, ask the board to approve the event on X date, and dollars not to exceed an amount.
Right, that's what we do that on the fund. A lot of things, but I mean, we don't know the specifics of it, but like,
But if we could start doing that, it's going to save us. It's
so
gonna-
at the same time as the day.
Same time as the date.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the committees will need to estimate what they think the cost will be. Now, if it's an overrun, obviously they'll have to come back. But that way, we don't have to approve $10.98 for, because it's all going to that event. I look, we've got, for some events, it's 4 and 5 different person, reimbursed for signs, reimbursed for paper plates, reimbursed. So that would take care of that, I think would help the committees in terms maybe of paperwork and us as well. Make
Anybody's
sense?
knowledge, if we ever turned down a request for amenities funds for a function for a committee?
Amenity funds,
What is the purpose behind us saying, yeah, the money's there, you can go ahead and spend
These committee funds.
you're talking about committee funds or amenity funds?
Yeah.
Different. Amenities, yes, we turned, I believe that some have.
Well, it
been turned.
depends, for an event.
I don't have anything to do with the minutes.
But that's committee. If it's an
Okay.
event,
But
it's committee.
Either way, is there something written that caused us to have a rule where we have to approve each one of those? If that money was earned by that committee and spent by that
I
committee?
believe, my understanding is from an accounting perspective, that has to be accounted for, maybe not the way we're doing it now.
I'm
but-
just trying to help you with lessening some
Would
of
it
the
behoove us
issues.
to maybe check with our accountant to make sure that we're not violating. any
Cabot,
principle?
you'll know more about this too. Cabot has.
We could still
the
record the
treasurer report.
expenses and have a record of receipts for that, but it might get us away from nickel and dime.
It's just difficult because people, individual things, you know, Harriman at McNabb will go out and get some food for the golf outing at this place. Somebody else goes over here and gets this stuff. And I don't mind writing multiple checks as far as what I'm doing for that. But so I don't know how you can really avoid that at this point. It's the way the system is set up now. And that, I know the Eagles are kind of a nag, but
And I know, we do have to approve the events, is my understanding.
yeah, we do. And, you know, it's submitted by the committee head like your call, right? And so, you know, that you communicate with the people that are gonna submit their invoices or whatever, and so it goes through you to like the filter run for social or whatever. And so, you know, you just then take it from there and we.
I was just wondering, I just know we talked about streamlining some things. I
Yeah,
just wondered
well,
what the
that's always
purpose
good.
was.
Bad idea.
Well, I think at least this would streamline it a bit, so
At
we
least
wouldn't
if I
have
could
to.
get it in the initial meeting. say
Initial
this
meeting, we
date
just need
and
to
this month.
Let your committees know then that when they put in a request for a date, and an event, they also need to put in a not to exceed. We've done that a couple of times already. And we just don't
Oh,
do
yeah.
it consistently, and it would just make
Yeah.
life a lot easier for us and the
And
committees,
it's good to overestimate rather than
a
underestimate.
little bit.
Yeah.
So are we saying we're gonna actually do this, or is this something we need to look into further and improve?
I think we can actually just do this if we can.
It's much easier for the office if we just go ahead, I mean, I've got my committees, and I've already talked to them today, and how we're gonna proceed. Because it's easier for me, so it's gotta be easier for the office, if they just say, I want an event, and I know I'm gonna be spending up to certain dollar amount, then I'll just get it all approved at once, and then I can start them, go ahead and fill out your committee activity report, turn it in with the receipt, and then Cabot will do a check. And I've also said it's easier to streamline it. It's just one person who's spending all the funds, and let the committee members see it how they want, instead of having 10 checks go out. with the same event. Even though all that money's been approved, that's how I'm having my committees do it.
Well, and-
Complicated with all the.
And the
Let's all do
committee-
it the same.
And the committee
Yeah, I
funds
think
are
that
funds
this
they've
is-
raised. It's
It
not,
is.
yeah, it's,
Their money.
it's their
spend
money.
as they wish. I just think it's easier.
Well, that's why
for
it's
the
kind of like,
office to-
is it okay if I spend my money? That's kind of what
It's
it just
kinda
seemed,
what
it seemed
is,
odd, yeah.
but, yeah, they have to get approval. So
Super.
I just think it's easier. all the
So do we
time.
need to vote on that? I think we need
I
to
don't
vote
think-
on it. It's just a
More of a
procedural, yeah.
Just simplifying
Okay.
things for the office too, and it's much easier.
Yeah, I talked to Penny about it today. She thought that would
Yes.
make things easier for them as well.
It is, other than going in and you have an event approved and then you all of a sudden you're turning in receipts.
It might be a
Doing it
good
twice.
idea to include that in the information that you, approve for December for amenities. Maybe we'll have
I could announce that, but it's, yeah, I've learned today to completely separate those two things. They have no connection to each other. Okay,
Yeah, I think just one thing, Linda, that if we go back and look at different e-votes, we have done both. We have done certain events that said, let's budget this amount not to exceed $200, $1,000 for whatever event member guest. But we have also done $10, $12, $27, $14 for expenses for the member guest. So I think we could all benefit from having, 8 votes for $13.
yes,
And if it went to 200, not to exceed 200, not to exceed 500, would simplify it from an e-vote standpoint as well.
yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely. That's.
Okay, all agree?
Yeah, all right.
Cool.
All
All
right,
right, so now we'll go around and we'll do committee funds requests, and I'm gonna start, so I don't forget, or Steve will smack me.
I'm sitting close.
And I can make a motion on this. Motion to approve the range committee carrying over $1,000 of amenities funds to help complete the trap house. Trap house. So that's my motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Abbott seconds. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, so that takes care of the range. Let's go around. Doug?
I do have a carryover request. And I was a little bit confused for a while ago. I think you said something about who votes for carryover request.
We'll just do them tonight if we've got
Okay,
it.
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, that's, but I think it's gonna be easier to do here. But anyway, we have a carryover. We had a carryover last year. We spent some of the money for the food services committee. And we're basically makeovers. Then there were a lot of, you've seen some of the makeovers and limited at this point because we didn't tackle it major. Because we're all getting together new again, fresh. No, that's okay. I can speak loudly, fairly, not as loudly as a couple people here, but I can fairly well. Anyway, the carryover request for the food services committee for continued renovations to the lodge. Makeovers, but improvements to the lodge, but not just the lodge, also the clubhouse. These are funds for both. It's food services committee. But the carryover request is for $14,399.77. And I'll defer to JJ and Bill. You're going to talk later, bring us up to date on not only what we've done, but you probably know most of that already anyway, but more importantly, what they're looking to do in the next year with this money, which has been unspent for some time, although we've earmarked the half this year to try to get going on that. So that's it. So carry it over.
Yep, we're going to carry it over.
Yes, that's what I moved.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I think that's really the only thing I have at this point, other than the note that fish stocking is done. That's been approved and the money's been spent. We spent a little extra this year, just under $3,000. So thanks to the Lakes Committee, and specifically in this case, by the way, Greg Weber. Don't know Greg, he oversees this every year and knows what he's doing. So,
Cool.
but you don't have to approve that, it's done. That's it.
They're swimming,
Yeah.
making little fish, or if they do that, I don't know.
That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, great. Nancy?
one more thing on the Lakes Committee. Doug, was there a vote needed for reimbursement for Barron for the pontoon? Is that Lakes?
Okay, oh yeah, we are gonna do that tonight. I'm sorry, we got a little confused on that today too. Anyway, we have, as we always have, folks who can't get their boats, their pontoon boats into the lot. It's designated for that purpose. simply because it gets filled fast. And it gets filled faster and faster every year, and I think we have more spots this year, and they got filled anyway. So anyway,
35%.
yeah, so anyway, so that'll continue to be something to deal with, I think, through the years. But in any case, we need to pay Jeff Barron or refund, I'll just simply use that word, refund Jeff Barron $65 for his fee that he's already paid to store his pontoon boat, and he doesn't have any place to put it. In full. So I move that we reimburse him for $65.
I'll second.
Second by Linda, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And Steve just reminded me too, when you do put in a request, if there's still some out there for amenity funds carryover, you need to say what it's for.
That's the earmark for it.
Yeah, it's got to be earmarked for something.
If it's not earmarked, just on a side note, if it's not earmarked for that, and the money for something else. Earmarked for a certain project and what that project may involve. Just decide, oh, I don't want to do that, I want to spend my money on something else, and it's not earmarked for that.
Should have brought that up sooner, because we need to have one
That's
for up
what
here
I-
too.
Yeah, that's.
I just happened to, think when I filled the form out, there was a box. If you're gonna carry over, what would it be used for on the new form?
I
So,
remember that from Chapel because we had it for shade and it was specifically for the shade. We didn't include it for the installation of the poles. We couldn't do the poles.
So we'll need to have some further.
It needs to be pretty earmarked.
legally for
What forms are we talking about? Including last year. Never seen.
I don't know who they all went to. I had looked for mine and it was actually
They
in my
went to all
spam
of it.
buried with a bunch of
They
other
went to
stuff.
all the committee chairs.
Kenny sent it out.
Yeah. Okay, did you fill that out then? And that's, so you covered all the specifics in that. Okay, is that a new form?
No,
It's always been the rule, or the reason to work.
The news and the bad.
The form this year was updated, so it's a writable form. It's much easier to read. The nuts and bolts are the same.
well, Nancy, your
Okay,
committees.
committee, I have a couple requests. First, I'd like to make a motion to have, this is pretty far in advance, but the committee would like to have their chapel benefit concert scheduled Saturday, July 22nd of 2023. And that will be under the leadership of Hideaway Hills resident Larry Korn, who had the concert last summer along with Cabot helping him. The concert was to be held at the amphitheater. I don't have the times yet, but it was like late afternoon to early evening. And this is not conflicting with any of the social committee concert schedules. So that again is for the chapel benefit concert to be held July 22nd. Larry Moore.
Okay, motion by Nancy, second,
I'll second.
second by Cabot. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you. Have another one from the chapel committee. They would like to, I'd like to get approval for up to $300 for music and the speaker leaders that they will be having for their Christmas Eve service, which will be held December 24th at the lodge. I believe it starts at 5:30.
The five, it used to be five.
Is it 5? It
It's
goes
usually-
5 to 6?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have the times, but they would like to have approval to spend up to $300 for leadership for that.
Okay. 300 for Christmas Eve service.
I'll second.
Chaz is second.
Chaz?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I just have one more. Everybody needs money. Compassion Committee, which is a subcommittee under the chapel. They have made a request to have up to $800 for the December 16th dinner, which they provide with Good Works. With $800 is so that they can purchase dinner and gifts for some of the people down in Athens County that they work very closely with. So that again is for the compassion committee to spend up to $800 for food gifts, except for the December 16th.
Great event. Serves a
It
lot of
is.
homeless.
It is. And they like to provide gifts. They're hoping that it will cost maybe 500 or a little less, depending on whether, give it to them and then like cooking for the funds that are left over. So.
Good. Is there a second?
Yes.
Oh,
My
he wo-
turn.
He
Wait a
woke up. Okay, second by Steve. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
All right. Cabot.
Thank you.
Just one thing, I need to make a motion for carryover regarding the social committee for $3,100 of many funds that they already have to be carried over for next year. What they want to do is to use it to install permanent lights along the stairs. Right now, they're just solar lights that go down to the amphitheater. So they want to wire that permanently and, get the place a little better lit than it is right now. That's the main project they're running.
Okay, great idea. So carry over.
It's pretty well lit.
No, you don't mean.
Oh, not that kind of lit.
Yeah, but no, we're talking about lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, the crowd's usually pretty well lit. How much was it, Kevin?
3,100. It's actually 3,300, but we just wrote it. I think we've already used about $100 million out of that. So
31 for carry.
yeah.
Okay. That'd be nice. Second,
I'll second.
second by Chaz. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed?
That's it for me.
Motion carried. Thanks, Cabot. Chaz.
I need to make a motion to reimburse Chancellor Stewart $397 out of the subcommittee, which is the basketball court rework, subcommittee of the health wellness, for concrete that we use to mount the posts for the rims and bathrooms.
Yeah, it looks really good. down there.
It does.
It looks really.
It's going to continue to get better. Too. So,
good.
Yeah, it looks
Motion
great.
by
This is what
Chaz,
was the subcommittee,
the basketball court.
Under
rework,
health and
yeah,
wellness.
out of health.
so second,
Second.
second by Steve. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You were talking about a new fire pit too. Is that something still in the works down there?
It was, and I was going to move forward with that until I realized that the new member committee had an October 14th event down there. So I had to back out of that timeline,
Okay.
probably spring. So,
Good. Linda, do you have anything?
no,
Okay.
Yes, it's me. I have one for the golf course. We would like to have $250 pre-approved for an end of season pizza and beverage gathering.
$250 for an end of, the season is over, yeah?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
end of year, end of season, it's for some people, it's never over.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, is there a second?
you don't have to bring a rake for a show.
Well, I don't know. That was not specified. Bring your own rake, yes.
I'll second that.
Second by Cabot. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dave, did you have any?
No, I do not.
Okay, and Eric, I should have said earlier, is excused tonight. He's on vacation. I think that takes care of all the committee and requests, yes? So now we have speakers from the Food and Beverage Committee.
I hope they brought samples.
No.
Spurs.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the board for hearing us tonight. Doug said we had about an hour, but I don't think we're gonna take that long. It's gonna be quicker than that. Pri-
That'll do it.
Prior to me becoming chairman of the Food Services Committee, there was a lot of talk, and it was just talk about redesign of the lodge. It looked like it was going to be something major. But then money and COVID and money came up and things weren't done. Under Doug's guidance, he said, why don't we get together and put together a plan as to what we'd like to do and do it in sections, pieces, whatever you want to call it. So tonight, we're going to send a presentation before you dealing with some tables and chairs that we've been looking at through our design team. The design team consists of Jill Jeffers, my wife, Eric Bordson, and Lindsay Kaczynski. These three have been very professional. They've been working about 6 months on this project. And it's something that we want to plant a seed because we don't know how much this is going to cost. We have a good idea, but with amenities money being carried over and different fundraising that we're looking to do, there may be a gap there. Since we're doing the budget, I just want to plant the seed. I don't have a number in mind right now, but hopefully by the time that the amenities meet, we see how much we can get out of that. We can have a better idea of exact costs. All right. Lindsay, you want to start off for us, please?
JJ. My name's Lindsay. I've been here in the Hideaway Hills since last April of 2021. So I'm a newbie. Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you. So a big part of coming here, I was super excited about the lodge and the brewery and everyone that I told, oh my gosh, you have a lodge, you got a brewery, you got all this. And I remember the first time walking in, I was just a bit underwhelmed. There is no character, there's no history. It didn't feel like a lodge, it felt like neglect. So I brought it up. I joined the food and beverage committee and said, why don't we do something about this? My idea was to have it kind of like a living history museum, to not lose the history of the Hideaway Hills and the very rich community that we have here. So that's where it all started. With Eric and JJ and Jill, we have painted the trim, we have put up beautiful pictures, as you can see, and we're really trying to bring that history and have it center stage. Because we really feel that this is reflection not only of just the lodge, but as our community. It's the largest indoor gathering place. It's where you bring your friends. It's where you bring your family. It reflects, not neglect, but it reflects some class, some care, and updates as well. So we've done as much as we can, but now we're at the next stage of looking to do new chairs, also new tables, to just pick it up a notch for the new people coming in. And as you're talking about earlier, we need volunteers, be some new blood in here. So just classing it up a bit. So yeah. So Jill will talk a little bit about the floor plan and what she's designed for everybody. And Eric will also speak a little bit about the costs tonight.
Gonna have microphones. So this is our floor plan. And the first thing you probably noticed is that we went with a lot of square, 36-inch square tables. The reason for that is we really want to make it more feasible, more flexible. Some of the tables we have, when you have like smaller families, Lindsay has a daughter, so the three of them come in there and they're sitting at an 8-top table, and it just doesn't make sense for couples even. There's a lot of wasted space that's used. So these tables are 36 inches, the rectangles, there's 3 rectangles. They're 36 by 72. So the 36s could go button up against them to make a longer table yet. Kept a couple rounds because some people like their round tables. And we're going with 24 by 30-inch bar top tables. The tables themselves are solid wood. They're wide plank maple. And this is the finish. Now, this is the other part that doesn't work upstairs. The bar and the restaurant, they're two different finishes, the wood. This would be a cohesive design so that the colors would go through and you can interchange the tables without it being so mishmashy. Just makes a better design statement. It just works better. What else? We also would like to add a drink rail. If you look at the bar overlooking the amphitheater, there's a drink rail that would be bar height. And we went to Wolf Run and they're looking to help us out with that. It would be, I think the price is $600, but it would be a live edge, kind of like the fitness center. If you've been over there, they have the same maple top. They have the same stain and everything. So that's for the tables. The chair is over here. It's called the boomerang chair. And the finish matches great with the table stains and what's happening in the bar. And we went with vinyl because, well, it's softer than a hardwood seat on the tush. And also, it helps with acoustics because it absorbs some of the sound that's going on up there. Yeah, and they're real easy. They're maintenance free. You just wipe them down. They're scratch resistant. It's powder coated. I think they're up to 400 pounds. Yeah, they're sturdy. Yeah. So, I mean, sit in it and try it when you get a minute and see, you find it comfortable, very comfortable. So that's all I think I have. We're trying to keep this limited, so Eric's going to talk to you now.
So I have the distinct pleasure of talking about money. I
How
think
much you giving us?
I'm bringing a lot to the table. Did they get, Jill, did they get one of the cost sheets?
Yeah.
So just kind of reviewing that, you can see that the bar height and the dining room chairs, there's 80 chairs and 25 bar stools. So that is, we're looking at $9,500 for that. For the tables, there's a total of 22. Jill talked about the different sizes of those. And then also and that's about 18,400. And then the live edge drink rail, as Jill mentioned, about 600. So really what we're kind of looking at right now is this is about 28.5 for the whole thing. Some things we've talked about is doing selling sponsorships for the chairs. And just driving over here, I counted about 26 people. So we could cover I think we could do all the chairs for like $100 each, get a little plaque on the back of the chair. And I think we could do really well with that. We never really talked about the tables. We could do a table sponsorship or maybe a whole set. And also another part of this, it would be reselling what we have. So I have no idea how much we could get out of that. But it's a possibility that we could maybe get a few $1,000s out of that. Jill noted on here that this is current market pricing. As we all know, everything's going up really fast. So when we get to the point of really talking about when we would do this and all of that, I think we would have to go out and price it. So
I have a question about and I think it's a great idea. Whatever that's looking out over the amphitheater. Yeah, is that going to be permanently affixed table?
Yeah.
In other words, in the middle of winter, when there's no concert going on, you can still sit there,
Yeah.
but, okay.
Yeah. It'll be about 15 inches wide. So you can put a small piece up there too. Just, they call it a drink rail.
Oh, okay.
Just out of.
Oh, okay.
It would hook onto the trim between the windows up there.
Yeah.
This is trim there. So I think it's 47 inches between, so I think it's 4 brackets.
Also, those tables that are up there are original equipment. I mean, and we had, when we got rid of the original equipment that was in the bar, there were some pretty cool tables that had been made out of wood cypress stumps and things of that nature. They had silent auction for that stuff. So you might want to think about, that to generate some funds too. Because I know there's plenty of people, like myself, that have been down here for 55 years or whatever, that kind of value that old stuff. So they'd probably be willing to pay for it.
One of the things that we had also talked about is, could we do this in phases? Well, to do the tables and the chairs, we pretty much have to do them at the same time due to the fact of the ability to sell the old tables and chairs. And the other thing is when things come in stock, this business is, you could have this table today and tomorrow it's gone, it's out of stock, it's discontinued. So to try to do this together as a team with the tables and chairs is something that we'd really like to do moving forward. There was one
So
other
you're
thing.
carrying over a fair amount of amenities funds already.
Yes.
14, I think. So,
Yeah.
So then obviously, the object is to be able to get additional funds this year. Funds
Yes,
to be able to bump
Yep.
up towards 28 or whatever.
Yep. and there is, the food service committee has been talking about also at the clubhouse, they need a new griddle and a fryer. Those are things that have just been on our list also. So there's funds associated with that. We are going to be doing some glassware fundraising with some HH logos on some wine glasses and some beer glasses. Are supposed to come in December 1st, hopefully just in time for the holidays. We'll put more out on that once we get it in. The other thing is too, have you been up there lately, the tabletops are just a mess. And part of that was due to the infectious, whatever you call it, the sanitizing those tables for COVID. That material, it just killed it. It just killed it. And you see some of them splitting because they were cold and warm and wet and then not. So there's a lot of different things there. The tables, not only that, or to move them around is very, very hard. These tables that we're looking at are a lot easier. The chairs are a lot easier to move around. And actually the chairs, as you can see, take up less space. Be more able to move and create bigger places and smaller.
What's the time frame in order, I know you gave us the price of the current market, but what is the lead time, like, in the order? What's the lead time?
So the chairs are a stock item, and
Oh.
they, I think they're out of stock right now, they're coming in the 20th in a couple days. That's a 1 day, they go out in 1 day. The tables are made to order, so they take a couple months.
So maybe by spring. I mean,
But technically, it looks like the funds are there for the chairs.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
So,
And again, the fundraising behind it with the sponsorships, to sell the glassware with hopefully resale of the digital tables and chairs. That can all bring those dollars down.
You're gonna consolidate space of those chairs stackable.
If you did, they would just, you get them all stretched out. But they fit underneath the table a lot better than chairs.
And they do not sell rolls of the vinyl, but you can buy extra seat, covered in the vinyl. So I would recommend buying just a couple extra, for long-term replacement.
That's good work.
Thank you very much.
Nice,
thank
very
you.
Yeah, well done.
comprehensive,
These are the guys that did it.
good team effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've noticed the efforts up there already. Thank you.
Yes, that was done, majority of that was all donated too. There wasn't a whole lot of money spent. We had a little closet down here that we found all these old pictures. I think there's a couple of Chaz when he was 2.
Yeah, those things were
No.
graying, weren't they, yellowing?
And the canvas ones, remember we had that ugly maroon stuff up there? Those are for sound too. There's foam backing
Right.
behind
Right.
that. So those are for
Yeah,
the sound.
somebody's
too.
mother is in one of those.
Karen
photos.
McNabb's mother
Karen
is a
McNabb's
server
mother,
there. Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
But I gotta go up there with Chaz one time.
you have to point that out to all of us.
If you look, I mark a bunch of them. My dad, before he passed away, I took those boxes to him
Uh-huh.
to have him take a look at them, and he identified a
There
lot
were
of them.
some with
Yeah,
Wrote
there
some
were
names
names
and
behind
stuff like that on them. So.
Okay, sweet.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
Very nice.
That was very nice.
No flag. Stand that flag. No, I can't.
When we redid those after the fire.
And they look good now. They got all polished up
Well, they
and
bought the new, shades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they look a lot nicer.
they look a whole lot nicer. Yeah.
Try.
Hey, thanks. Open forum, did you put the sheet on
I
it?
did.
Okay.
It does. Look at that big screen. hooked up there.
Yep, yep.
Pull the chair up for the mic or.
So, blue sheet.
Margaret Euler.
Yes. Hi, my name's Margaret Euler. I guess I was a little stunned by that presentation because I'm looking at the chair going, how long is that chair gonna last for a 300-pound person to sit in? I mean, I just look at that, I'm a little stunned that we're gonna just keep spending money and spending money. When we have a back gate, that affects me every day when I go to work and when I can't get home, that we haven't even fixed yet. I know in meetings, I think last year, maybe in March, we were told we were at 45,000, 46,000. Curious what we're at now.
What about, you talk about Boar Hill Gate?
For a hill.
Because I come in and out of there all the time and it works.
Oh, it didn't work the other day. I've called security multiple times and we've had
Yeah, I
problems.
must not have gone out that day.
We've had to back up.
I know we've had some days I've seen that.
We've had a lot of issues. When it snows, what's our answer? Do we have one?
For sliding down the hill, you
For
mean?
sliding down the hill. If I hit that gate, what is that?
I thought they
gonna?
were, the plan was to put in temporary gates.
Watch this.
I bet you're watching on
The kind of raised gates.
I remember
Is that what
hearing that.
we discussed?
This is Margaret bitching.
About what?
Hey, guys,
Hey,
mute yourselves.
did they just say Margaret, you were bitching?
I didn't, I
I
don't know who
didn't
that,
catch what they said. I just was grumbling.
Wow.
anyway, I thought we were gonna put these temporary gates in.
Yeah, they were supposed to be, some type of breakaway configuration or.
Well, we were,
Was that
that's
it?
what I thought.
the second set of further distant eyes that would allow that during the winter months for those to open sooner, they'd be further away from the gates, and it'd be a longer reaction time to open, is what was originally discussed. when I was done.
But nothing's really been done moving forward for that, right?
Well, I think that the sensor for the tag is out as far as. it can
I
go.
know, which isn't very far. I know, I mean,
It's a
nothing
huge
against,
problem. It's a
I was
huge
just
problem.
wondering if we might be still thinking about a temper, keeping that thing open with a temp like they have at the front gate, so the worst thing happens is you snap a little piece of wood off if you're sliding down.
We were promised something and we didn't get it. It never went to the members to vote how I access and everyone at that back gate, how we access our own property. And now I cannot get in and out on certain days. I put in 14-hour days at work. Now I have to drive around if that gate is not working. I'm very concerned, along with many, many members on the backside of Bora Hill that cannot get in and out. It's a huge concern. We've spent a lot of money. We don't have answers. And we're talking about spending more money to go upstairs and to make it beautiful. I waited 20 minutes to get a beer the other day. What are,
Let's break this down a little bit, okay? First things first, and don't think we had problems with the gate openers and gates not working. Okay, so that hasn't changed. My gate stood open for a couple weeks at a time periodically. And so, I mean, I don't think there's any guarantee that the RFID is gonna completely eliminate that problem. I mean, that it's just, I don't see it happen. Now, was it meant to get rid of the gate openers that everybody and his brother were running around with? Yeah, probably.
and has
That
it,
was
has
the
it
main.
actually, I mean, you're right, the reason for that was
Yeah.
to keep people out.
Yeah.
Has it done that?
I'm gonna
I'm sure it
suggest, I
has.
think it has, and
Yeah.
here's the reason I say that, and I can't prove it.
I'm
Please.
listening.
We have more tailgating right now. I go in and out all the time. You know why I think that is? Because I think all those people had gate openers before and they just buzzed right on in. So that's why I've noticed a significant increase. I use the Freeman Gate. And there always were some tailgaters, but it is way more now than it ever was. And I think I suspect a lot of those people had openers and they're going to members' homes. They're not just cruising through for no reason. So I do think it's probably,
But then
and we
what
know
was the-
from contractors, it has
Well,
eliminated.
There's also a difference between
What was the point
capital
of
money, which
changing the
is,
gate? That's what, I guess that's my real question, is what was the point in changing the gate system? Because people are still getting in, you can pull right up to the gate, people are still coming in, there's more conflict with people having the conversations now that you can't get in, people are stopping cars, someone's gonna get hurt. My concern is we're talking about spending more money and we've not fixed the problem that we were promised.
we're talking about two different kinds of money here, Margaret. That's a capital expense and that's capital expenditure. Okay,
Got that.
this is a lodge amenity, okay, which comes from a different source. Okay, so we're not gonna be able to take the money that these guys want to spend on these chairs and reallocate it to the capital expenditure. Okay,
Right.
help me out here. I mean, it's this is the way that it's set up and it's the way that the money flows. Okay, so I'm not sure where we're at with that angle. I'm not, but
Then
I'm
do we
just-
have an answer yet for the back gate of when anything's gonna change, what money we're gonna spend to fix it so that we can
Fix
get
the
it?
road from being slick, you know, coming down the hills, or just so that the gate will open?
Probably
Oh, yeah, both.
Yeah.
Because I do,
Absolutely, I've never hit it before.
I
but
almost did last year, and here's what they did after that. They, when it's a terrible, when they getting a terrible storm, they just open it permanently. For the
Right,
very reason that they don't, you know, so that you're not sliding down into the gate for that day or two until they can get the road clear. And I think that's one thing that is a good idea.
And that's a
actually.
call the guards make.
Call the guards
Randall
make, right.
Makes that call each time it's done.
What you're saying is your RFID don't seem to be working.
no, the other day, it lights up green, still doesn't open. And
Yeah,
it's
mine's
not
done
just
that a
me.
couple times since they went live too, but by and
So
large.
what happens when it is icy? I mean, what is the plan? I'm not hearing any plan. I've called security.
Well, I
I've
just
ca- I've
told you.
called the office.
They're gonna open the gate. That is part of the plan.
Mhm.
As they've always done. when
And
it's slick.
I do think we should look into this, what we brought up last year about the temporary.
What's the problem every year? It's just like, you know, every year this comes
So-
up.
So that is on our list of projects, is to go through and replace the gates with chop gates. out
Chop
there.
gates, what they call it.
And that's on there, right? You know, the Bora Hill Gate, we just didn't have it in there initially in the project, so we couldn't do it. But that is, the ultimate plan is to go through and start replacing that. So there's two different systems, right? There's the one system
I
that reads
kind
the
of wanted
plan.
to say that that's kind of my point, is we just keep making decisions that we're not always thinking completely through.
Oh, no, we are. I don't agree with that at all, because we've had a lot of discussions about this, and in fact, I mean, on the management committee, I voted against the RFID system initially. But we as a committee decided to go forward with that, so we're gonna do the best job at that we can.
And we've
And-
had
and that's what
people,
we're
we
doing.
had people come in and talk and say the whole reason why the system wasn't gonna work. And it affects me every day and a lot of other people on that backside, but we're not seeing any changes and we're only seeing more problems. And then I come to the meetings and I just see, it seems whether coming from different funds or whatever. I mean, my assessment is gonna go up in January. So that money to me is I'm paying someone to take care of it, no matter where it goes to. The problems that are affecting me are not being resolved. So I see that as a overall problem, no matter where the money is
Right.
going, is
I
we're.
think we've got it. I do appreciate you coming in. It's the Bora Hill Gate that's the primary problem. I've not heard a thing about any other gate. I use Freeman all the time. It's flawless. So Bora Hill is an issue. And we will talk about and see what we could do to either fix what's wrong currently with the vendor and talk about what to do. And maybe it comes up with a priority chop gate. But
And that's interesting that you haven't heard, because I spoke to Penny and it's been nothing but complaints.
So it's just, I'm kind of
Just
blown
on
away.
that gate, just on that gate.
Just on that back gate.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the Boar Hill Gate. It doesn't
And-
seem
and
to be
Penny-
any of the other gates.
Yeah,
which-
and Penny seems to think that there's lots of people that have problems with it. It isn't just me.
Well, I'll ask her tomorrow. I'm coming in. I'm gonna
That
ask,
would
because
be
I
great.
haven't heard, that's my gate too, Margaret, that's my gate.
Absolutely. I mean, Facebook, it's all over Facebook,
Yeah.
you know, with other
I try to
problems.
stay away.
I know, and you know, I'm out and about every day, walk miles, and I know
I know.
what's going on with
I
that
see it.
gate. And I saw that accident last year, and I don't want that to happen
Yeah.
again.
I was
was
just ahead of
awful.
that accident.
It was awful.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Any other speakers? Any other
Um,
vote?
Courtney, yep. So I have a couple questions. We've had some issues. My husband and I are in the process of finishing a home that we just redid. And we've had some issues that we've heard on getting final occupancy. And I reached out to.
Final occupancy.
Final
Can you
occupancy.
go a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Russell.
Final occupancy, I've reached out to Andy, on that, and I don't understand the concern. You know, we have a lot of other things going on, and I feel like this should be just an easy.
Didn't we just to that tonight, vote on waiving or, allow to get to join the
Yes,
law?
yes, so we
just
joined the
voted
laws,
tonight.
is that a vote? I haven't gotten.
You just
So
voted,
is
just
that
approved.
the final occupancy? Like, I'm just a little concerned on.
No, I
You're
think those
saying
are two different things.
occupancy is a different thing. That's ACC.
Where are we at? Where are we at?
I don't.
Because I
that's what
feel like
I've
we've
heard.
done.
I can answer.
Okay,
Oh.
Thank you.
grab
So
a
what we
mic,
had
Andy.
is We had to get SCP, we got the waiver
Okay,
from the CEO, that was the first thing.
okay,
The boss had been joined already, that was the second thing.
right.
And then the board easement waiver, which happened tonight,
So we are good.
so we're good, and they can go ahead and issue the occupancy.
Okay, because I need to rules on this home. Make Sure that we were good on that. So we are all good.
That was the last step. I thought.
Sounds like it's done.
So what do we do from here?
They'll issue the occupancy permit.
And who picks that up? They pick it up? They
We
come
just
to
go
the
in the
office?
office and we pick that up.
Process is, I believe that we have to do a final walkthrough on the property,
Fine.
Okay.
If that can happen this week, that's fine.
the ACC, and then you pick up the occupancy permit, I sign off on it, ACC signs off on it, and then it's yours.
Okay, we just need that done.
So, yeah, so you two, this sometime maybe this week, I don't know, somebody with ACC.
Somebody I can meet with anybody this week. So,
Exactly when?
That's what we're working on, Kev. Can we nail down a time
What's
here?
the answer? What's the answer?
Well,
What
we're
timeline would
discussing
be
that.
nice?
We're discussing it right now.
Okay, discussing,
No,
discussing this for 6 weeks.
right, we've heard you before, we get it. So
Okay,
let's try to figure this out.
You know what?
Chris,
Just tell me when.
okay, we're talking to Chris right now.
Okay.
You see us?
Well,
Is
she's
there
right
a
here.
time, Chris,
What
when
is
we
the
can,
issue?
they have to do it?
Okay.
Kevin,
let's talk about it
enough.
right now.
Kevin, what,
Kevin,
we
that's
do
it.
this all the time, Kev. We're trying to work through this.
Okay, let's hear
And
it.
so what
Let's hear it.
he just said what needs to happen.
Okay.
Walk through, the two of
I'm
them,
done with it. Let's
final
hear it.
walkthrough. Got it?
Yep.
Why
Thank you,
don't
sir.
you and Chris
I'm
work together?
Let's hear it. Thank you, sir.
And it's John Greer that walks through.
Okay, so can we get that done
This week.
this
I
week?
can meet you, that's fine.
I won't be there. I'm in Columbus.
Okay. I
So
can
John
meet you.
Greer.
We need to get with
Yeah.
John
It'll
Greer.
have to be tomorrow.
That's fine. I don't mind. I can meet with whoever, whenever. I just need to know when.
So-
So I got a question. Why are we dealing with this in a board meeting?
I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little confused. I don't even know anything about it, and yet we're,
Why does it have to come to a board meeting? I will explain to you, the last ACC meeting that we were at, we were told we had to call South Central Power to get a waiver for a lot enjoyment. We called South Central Power. We were told, hey, guess what? We can't even find this easement. This is so old. We're getting frustrated ourselves. You know, that's what we were hearing on our end. So I called my surveyor. Hey, we tried to survey it the best we could. So it's frustrating on our end when we're dealing with South Central Power and our surveyor, and we're not getting any answers. And we're trying to just
we're just trying to conform to what you want.
Right.
Yeah,
but I mean,
we're
yelling and screaming, and And then South
confused.
Central Power is emailing Hideaway Hills saying, we're not doing this anymore. We're done. They're frustrated with
That's
what
not
we've had
just,
to
you.
deal
That is not, hang on, that is not just you,
That is-
Courtney. Wait.
This is the first
time that.
Wait a minute.
Kevin, you are out of order, and I'm gonna ask you to leave if you keep interrupting.
No, I want, can I explain, please? Can I explain? This is the first time that South Central Power has ever released an easement for
On
a septic
a
system,
septic system.
ever.
They did.
Kevin, if you send Courtney to the microphone, let her speak or come up to the microphone yourself.
We need to have you talking to the mic. They can't.
That's that is fine. I will say South Central Power was great to work with, and we did call them numerous times. And we just said, hey, this is what Hideaway Hills is asking. They said it's an easy fix. Call us. Hey, they do this all the time, we were told, through Hideaway Hills. We talked to I believe his name was Scott, through South Central Power, and he said, Pete, and he said, we can't even find this easement. It's 50 years old. We're done dealing with this. So it became an issue for us trying to fight South Central Power and what Hideaway Hills wanted. I just want it done because we're in contract. I don't want that to
And
end.
we agreed, so let's end
So
it now.
the pos-
This week, Andy, you and John Greer will go out and do the walkthrough, correct? Okay,
So what is the walkthrough? Just a walkthrough to confirm that we've done everything correct?
Look at the plumbing, they look at the electrical, they look at all the
Okay,
different things.
that's absolutely
The
fine.
house is done.
It
that's
is
happened
done.
at
We
every
already-
home
They
out
walked
here
through
that's
like
been
3
built.
weeks ago.
Pete did give, I believe they emailed 2 letters to Hideaway Hills on what they concern or what they confirm as acceptable as waivers as lot conjoiners and therefore like we should.
Right, so they will, every home that's built out here, ACC and the GM go through and do a final walkthrough.
Okay.
Me, happen to everybody.
So
So we
from,
will get that. John Greer isn't here, so we can't tell you what his schedule is. Andy will work on that, and
that's fine.
We were thinking, I think Andy said tomorrow, just a little.
he's got to get a hold of John
Great.
Greer.
No
Andy?
problem. I can meet
He has to
whoever,
get John,
whenever.
he has to make John, make sure John can.
The other issue I do, and Chris, you can help me with this one, we're gonna get off this topic in a second, but tomorrow, 9 o'clock. He's available. If Andy's available, tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
That I need to
Was
meet
that
with
from John
Andy tomorrow.
Greer?
9 o'clock. Is that what you're saying?
9
I
a.m.
don't have a slightest idea what we're.
John
I'm
is
completely
available
lost.
tomorrow at 9 o'clock. He wants to get this done for you and get it pushed through. We
Perfect.
just need to check Andy's schedule when he comes out.
Okay, that works.
Okay, tomorrow,
Thank you.
9 o'clock. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you for it.
I will, and this is gonna come up. And Chris, you can help me out here, just so the board's aware. South Central has a new regime in charge there, and they are getting much pickier about granting easements. They don't have to. For their, Chris is,
Time and money for them, somebody researched all this stuff. They
and
don't need
in
to
this
report.
issue, it was the septic was gonna be in the easement, and then if they had to come through, they would tear it up. So that's what happened in this case. But they have notified us in writing that they are not going to just simply approve everything as they have historically done.
And they may need to use easements more than they have in the past.
Yes.
And the more we have small areas that we're building on, it's gonna become more and more a problem. And
Yes.
South Central is just not gonna be as liberal, I don't.
And it's the same is gonna happen.
Hang on. I'm gonna see if they-
Thank you.
Same is gonna happen with septics coming into smaller and smaller lots. We've got issues with that.
Right.
With bigger and bigger houses and smaller lots, and they may say, they're getting pushed back too, to say, no, we're not granting. The board, the Hudson County Health Department. Okay, very good.
I ask a question about this whole thing.
Kevin, you're good. Kevin, tomorrow, 9 a.m. John and Andy will be there.
Okay.
Okey dokey.
I don't know. Can we take that later?
Yeah, if you don't know, that's fine.
I don't know. Our septic tanks considered, Chris, our septic tanks considered structures. Yes, Steve, yes, they are.
Structure is.
That's okay, you just asked that, so we're good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just,
Okay, we need
thank you.
Update Chaz real quick on the ad hoc committee about appearance, property appearance.
We intentionally waited until after the leaves came down so we can see more. The list of calls that I'm getting from people continue to add up. Some of them are properties that we already know about. Some of them are ones that we don't, and it's very obvious that we need to get going soon, because there's some bad stuff out there, very bad stuff.
Okay, so you'll maybe give us another report in December. on
Yeah,
that?
and that
Okay.
being said, we're still looking for it. We've got 2.5 members
Okay.
on this. Tim is gone during the winter time, which is a critical time to do this. And I know that from having been involved in it in the past. And so we could use at least one more member.
Okay,
Okay?
so word out there, one more member for the appearance committee.
don't
would be
get
great.
anybody.
Join the
sign
fun.
in. 'Cause I know there's time for it, so if you need another hand to ride around and look at things, report back to you, but yeah, someone else doesn't volunteer, whichever
Well-
they do.
Well,
We
Scott,
sort of want that, actually, we need that not to be board members, Steve.
Okay,
Thanks
I
for the
understand.
offer, but we
Just
will
trying to
be
think,
we will be then involved in sometimes in the action taken. So it's better if we're not,
Kind of a conflict.
it's a conflict. In terms of, there could be, extra assessments or something, and so we should be impartial in that. Until it comes to us.
so there.
Okay, let's run through these as fast as we can. Parking rules, Chaz.
The calls continue to come in from people complaining about where campers are being parked, motorhomes are being parked. I noticed that Nancy, when you made the push to reestablish the lines in a lot of the corners, that a lot of that is impeded by the fact that members continue to park on the road. And there's not even enough room for 2 cars to get by. Oftentimes when we see that, there are no cars in the driveway. They're all on the road. There's wave runners on the road, there's boats on the road, and we only have so much road to work with. So I'm going to recommend that we blow the dust off of the rules associated with parking. I went over them and looked at them very thoroughly yesterday, and there's lots of room for improvement. The bottom line is that we, along with Andy and the guards, we need to start addressing some of this stuff. We've got people that run their business that park construction trailers and equipment on the roads, and so my word tonight is that out of courtesy to your neighbors, if you've got room in your driveway, please park your stuff in your driveway rather than on the road. But we also need to get official with addressing some of the problems.
So
So,
those rules need to be extensively redone.
it's gonna be a matter of what it boils down to is what's Hideaway Hills right away, as far as the roads are concerned. And there's plenty of people, and look, I get it, that probably think that's their property, so that's why they can park there. I don't think that's always the case. We also, and it's listed in our rules, that there are some situations for homes that were built prior to 1975. There's other provisions made for members. I'll use Natchez as an example, that don't have a parking spot or a driveway. Now, there's a lot of people in Natchez that have made them. So there's more than one rule set that governs what can and can't be done. So we
That's a
need to
good
start
point, Doug.
breaking
We
it
might
down.
want to take a look at it. It may not be real as clear
Yeah,
as it could be.
yeah.
Anybody want to take a look at that?
I
As
will
it
be
is-
more than happy to
okay.
participate in it, but I've got kind of plate full with a couple other things right now. So at any rate, I think it's time we look at it and start to address what's protocol? You've got the 72-hour rule and so there are just different things going on in different places.
Right.
And we probably just need to get it out and blow the dust off of it and start taking a look at it.
Okay. Okay, good.
Also, I think, especially with winter coming. 'cause
Yep.
when they're doing
Snow plowing.
Yeah, it's a real problem in
That's a
some
real
places.
problem.
And the
They
same
really
vehicles there all the
in and
time.
out.
Yeah.
Please do not park the car.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it really needs to be addressed sooner than later.
Okay, thank you, Chaz.
Yep.
Linda Lonsinger, rule change language. It's a quickie. Well, the
Yes.
one is.
This has to do with sky lanterns or floating Chinese lanterns. It's under our rules for Hideaway Hills. We're listed under fireworks. And the new language would be the use of fireworks, new word, sky lanterns or floating Chinese lanterns is prohibited in Hideaway Hills. So we're just adding sky lanterns or floating Chinese lanterns to the fireworks language.
And we as a board had actually said no to that before, but now it was never actually clarified in the rules, so we're gonna put that in.
Are those two things considered fireworks under state law?
The
Sky lanterns?
sky lanterns.
I don't know.
Are,
I'm just
the
curious.
sky lanterns are
Are they?
considered
Okay.
similar to fireworks, and there's some language in the state code regarding that. The floating Chinese lanterns, I think that's a little different, but there's also a problem with, you know, the stuff all going into the lake and potentially where it goes, there could be a fire because there could be.
And I think they're under incendiary devices for public display or something like that, but it's with fireworks in the code.
So how do you want to do this, Hodge?
The other two, you mean?
No, this one.
Oh, we need to vote to,
Add that language.
Linda's making a motion to add that language. It'll appear in the echo as usual. So is there a second?
I'll second.
Nancy seconds, discussion?
Okay, so let's say somebody chose this year to put up Christmas luminaries.
Are they going to be floating on the lake?
Nope.
Are they going to be in the air?
Nope.
That's what
It's
this
okay.
refers to.
They're gonna be on the ground in little bags.
It refers to sky lanterns. Sky
Well,
lanterns.
so I'm only asking because are we going far enough? Because this same thing sitting on the ground, if the wind blows, a candle falls over, catches a paper bag on fire, it starts forest fire. I'm only asking
Well, I mean,
before I
that's
do
no
it and then I
different
get
than
in
fire
trouble.
when we
for
have
doing it,
fire
so-
pits, right? I mean,
Well, so now you
but
call
it's
it, is
the
that
same
different than a
area.
fire pit?
It
Yeah.
is, it's not contained like a fire, but in my opinion, I mean, if it's a plastic bag or a paper bag, which a lot of areas are done with, or a plastic milk carton. Now, if it's a paper bag, it can blow over quite easily and cause a problem. It's not a contained area. It looks at it.
It's a small candle in sand, and sand's not flammable.
There is a chance that could happen. That it could ignite, make the wind pick it up and blow it. Which there were years here Christmas Eve, I was involved in those weekends in South Front, I watched it a lot. But maybe at that time it's done.
I guess this is, as we bring things up, and I know you guys have done this longer than I, but it seems like some things we want to look at a little more complete on some issues that come up. Just see if we're covering this accurately. and fairly. We have one incident of a lantern. We've never had anything on the lake. Again, we didn't investigate the lake thing. I don't know, maybe the biodegradable, and when they hit the water, they just
We
go
did,
away.
that was actually before you got home. And we did take a look at all of that.
Wasn't the last
Whether
problem
that-
the fact that they wanted to do it the night before the boat removal or something
Yeah,
like that?
yes, that was
or-
one thing, and the stuff would still have been in the lake, plus we also looked at whether or not that stuff actually would be good. It's in there, different opinions about whether it does or not. But yeah, that came up before, and we said no.
Can't be the only private people that have this problem, and should we reach out to the local fire departments and ask them what
I
type
know,
of risk we're at?
well,
Got a bunch
the
of
sky
firemen doing it.
lanterns are against the law in Ohio. The sky lanterns,
Right.
they are.
I'm not against it. I could take a 6-hour online course and I could get class two license.
Well, maybe
Legally,
that's
so,
the
I mean,
case,
that's
but-
just it.
They are.
It'd
and
be a
there's
Hideaway Hills
penalty.
rule against doing it.
No, this is state, can I send you that state fire marshal?
I agree, but you can do an online course and get that.
Okay,
Here's
well,
what
maybe
I'm
you can, but that's
I
not,
don't want it to be, again, this is part of, and I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying, I would like to be part of something that we do full research on it and not go out halfway on it. We don't want to say the reason we're doing this is because it's against the state, because then somebody's going to come and say, okay, I'm going to get the license. And you said the only reason I can't do it is because it's against the law in the state of Ohio. They're going to set one off and we have nothing. to
Well,
do
I
with it.
think it's more than just against the law and for the state of Ohio. For me personally, looking at it, we're a wooded environment. And we have a lot of dry wood, dry leaves,
Well, I'm not
at different times throughout the year. I'm worried about a fire, and I think we should all be worried about a fire.
yeah.
I mean.
I spent 37 years in the fire service. Believe me,
No.
this scares me every
I
time
don't
somebody
think
has a
it's just
kitty.
about violating the law, it's more about common sense. Do we want to be letting things off into the air, having things on the water next to gasoline tanks where we could have a fire or something blow up? That worries me. Now
I
luminaries,
agree.
maybe there's a risk with that too, depending on where they're placed. Sure, there could be a risk. I don't know if it's as big a risk as the others, but if you want to include that and you think we should look at that, I don't have a problem in the world with that. My idea is for this to be a safer community. period.
100% with you. I'm just saying, I don't think we should cite a state law if it's not the actual reason for it. If our reason is to
Well, then
protect our
it's not-
beautiful committee,
Okay, but
then let's make
Well,
it a
it won't be in
rule.
the, it won't be in the
that's
rule.
not that is one of the things. That is not the reason for it. The reason for it is safety, and we live in a wooded environment, and you don't want things crashing and blowing up. Now, are you suggesting that we take that back to the Constitution Committee to say, should we add other
I'm
things?
just asking, have we looked at it completely? I mean, that's the only thing I'm asking. If
What
somebody
else
does
would
that,
you-
we start a fire. I don't know.
What
I mean,
else would
To
you
me,
want?
the luminary thing comes because it's Christmas time. I
Okay.
participate in lighting of houses in Hideaway Hills, and I can remember doing this for many, many years ago. And it was something that nobody else has done here, and I was looking, going possibly that direction, but I'm sure not gonna do it and then get 14 phone calls that I've got illegal fires burning along my driveway. So that's why I brought it up in this case. So are we thinking it through and
It's a risk analysis. So how much of a risk does it pose? That's what we're really worried about. It's a risk to our community. If this board thinks that we need to add that because it is a risk, then sure, we can add that.
Still think you could do luminaries if you want.
Yeah.
There's plenty of like the battery operated one that if it runs over, it's not gonna cause a problem. You're still gonna get the same ambiance.
Dave, were you gonna weigh in?
Dave?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the proposed change, it's 5 or 6 words, right? It was a pretty simple statement of language. Use of fireworks is prohibited. We're simply adding sky lanterns, floating Chinese lanterns. If in fact somebody says luminaries, we could add luminaries, but it's not like we're adding a full paragraph to this simple section 3. We're enhancing what it says about fireworks with 2 additions. I think that's a pretty simple yes or no motion tonight. And then if we want to talk about luminaries or further conversations later, we can do that. But I think we heard a motion to approve this language as it is, looks pretty simple. And I think the 2 things we're adding are pretty straightforward.
So Linda's made the motion. Do we have a second for the motion? Nancy seconds. Discussion, we had some. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Linda, do you want to go ahead and do the 2 building code changes?
Sure. These are also simple. One pertains to water wells and front setbacks. And as you're aware, we've had requests for at least one variance, and there may be another one in the offing regarding setbacks and water wells. So in the building code, section 300.01, they are requesting, the ACC has requested that we add the language, and you have it in front of you. The setback for a private water well on any lot line or parcel line, if lots are conjoined, is a minimum of 10 feet rather than 25 feet from the front line or 40 feet from the center of all roadways. I am, for purposes of very long, I'm summarizing this. Another section of this that would need to be changed to allow for the 10-foot instead of 25 or 40 is language regarding the front setback. A front setback is measured from the property line abutting a Hideaway Hills Road right-of-way. Where a property abuts more than one Hideaway Hills Road right-of-way, a front setback applies to the property line abutting only one of the road right-of-ways. So I'm understanding, Chris, this is basically choosing your road for your building. So the front setback is based, your language in 700 is basically saying if there are several roads around your house, you pick which one you are considering to be your front and apply the 10 foot.
As opposed to having two lot lines.
Right, so instead of 25 feet, it could be 10 feet.
Just in that one instance,
Yes.
not in general.
Yes.
One lot, one road. Still 25.
There are some lots that are order of two
Yep.
roads, so
Yep.
it would
I
affect
got
all
one.
of those lots.
You know, we had that situation up on Winnemucca or whatever, where they're building right up very tight to the road. And kind of looked over, right? So the construction of the front, was just like 10 feet back from the road. House.
Are you talking about the variance?
Yeah, well, okay, never mind.
It's okay.
I know we've just.
In
had
the
a long-
corner lot, then the other road that is on the side of your lot, not your front of your lot, the easement is just 10 foot. So they could actually go in 25 feet, but only 10 foot off the other road.
That would be-
Okay, so I think,
Yes.
I'm,
For sake of, yes.
okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we at least preliminarily approve this, put it in the echo for 2 cycles.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Jazz seconds, discussion, we did. All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carried. Linda has one more.
just one more, and this pertains to committees, Hideaway Hills committees, really conforming to the ACC requirements, and it says that new language is no fee is required, so the committee is trying to put up, I don't know, a shed or whatever. There's no fee attached, but a building permit application containing the details, just like anybody else, needs to be filled out.
So Linda's making that motion.
I am making a motion that we accept this language and put it in 2 cycles. and get them for
I'll second that.
final
Yeah.
approval.
Second from Jazz, discussion. Okay, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have one other quick thing, but I think in the interest of time, we may table it till next time. We occasionally get requests for videotaping in Hideaway Hills. And that might come from a member, but it might be going for an ad for something, et cetera. But we don't have to make a decision. Nothing's pressing. We don't have to make a decision about that now, but I think we may want some discussion about that. We need to decide how we're gonna handle it because we've not been consistent.
Well, it's
all the
happened
time.
twice last year.
Yeah.
twice, Yeah.
So let's table that. Let's postpone that until next time. Dave, you want to reaffirm the e-votes?
Yes. Go very quickly. Is my audio okay? You can hear everything?
Yes.
Great, man.
Okay, October 24th, e-vote to approve the following expense items for the lodge electrical upgrade. Pool, $33,187. Trash compactor, $20,925. Lodge building equipment, $42,117. 8 yes, 0 no's. October 25th, approve the chapel committee to have their annual Christmas Eve service in the lodge on 12/24 from 5 o'clock to 6:30. 8 yes, 0 no's. October 27th, Approve member Catherine Ternay's lot 2052 Cheyenne Court to video a small commercial at the Hideaway Hills Golf Course, likely holes 1 or 2 for the company she works for. The vote was 3 yeses and no other votes pending further discussion. Based on that further discussion, the next e-vote went out on October 27th. E-vote to rescind the previous e-vote until further discussion. To approve the member Catherine Turney's lot 2052 Cheyenne to video the commercial on the golf course, hole 1 and 2. The vote to approve to rescind was 6 yes and 1 no, so the e-vote was rescinded. November 2nd, an e-vote to approve a refund to Colleen Spees for her pontoon parking lot fee, $65, 7 yes, 0 no's. November 5th, to allow a member the final opportunity to secure a site assessment and remediation plan within 60 days for lot 1038 and provide the board with documentation of the assessment and plan signed by a geotechnical engineer. 8 yes, 0 no's. November 8th, please approve an additional $1,000 to the original $5,000 October Board of Trustee meeting approved for our golf workday next Saturday, November 12th. The additional $1,000 is to rent equipment for the golf staff to use during the week. Approved 8 yes, 0 no's. November 11th, approval for the reimbursement of $59.25 to Karen McNabb for the expenses for night golf prizes, 7 yes, 0 no's. Those are all the e-votes.
Thank you, Dave. And Dave, are you making a motion to approve the e-votes?
I would make that motion, yes.
All right, second. Second by Nancy, discussion.
You look out of focus. What is behind you, Dave?
Florida.
You don't want,
Would that be Florida? Oh.
it's the bar.
We don't
I don't know. I can't see my own picture, so.
So all in favor of approving the e-votes?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Great. Nancy, new members.
Okay, for new members, we have just a few. We have Alice Richards, lot 323 for a home. We have Scott James and Carolyn Adridge. Hope I pronounced that right. Home on lot 1047, excuse me. Daniel Floyd, lots 614, 615, and a home on 709. Adam Michael and Julie Marie Ford, lots 56A and home on 57. New members. Motion to accept the new members.
Second.
Second by Chaz Cross, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, I now need a motion to adjourn to executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cabot Ray, second by Linda Lonsinger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and we are signing off.